show and welcome back in today's online class. Today we'll discuss about the fire control. In previous class we have discussed about the conditions of fire or combustion. Today we'll talk how to control fire. Okay. So as we know, there are three conditions of combustion. To control fire, we'll have to remove any one of the conditions. Okay. If we will be able to remove any one of the condition, then certainly we can control the fire. When these three conditions are required or satisfied to cause fire, if we will remove any one, automatically fire will go off. Okay. So the three conditions are availability of combustion material, second one is supply of air, and third one is the ignition temperature. So if there is fire, means we cannot remove the combustion material because fire is already there in that material. But the continuous supply of air or oxygen may be removed or stopped, and the ignition temperature substance can be reduced. So 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 by doing these two work, we can stop the fire. So by cut off the supply of air, or by lowering the temperature of substance that is low than its initial temperature, we can stop the fire. Okay. See, one it is very common experience that we feel whenever there is fire around us or any in our society or in our nearby area. We might have seen that people used to put water. That water is lowering the temperature of the substance which has fire, and it lowers below its ignition temperature. So the fire goes up. And one more, we have seen the process, that is by covering the object. Suppose some people has got fired, so people want to cover him with a blanket, okay, or any object which will catch fire. If we'll cover it with some that substance which will cut the supply of air, that will uh, uh, stop the fire because the supply of air will be cut off. So these two conditions are there and stop fire. But but mind it, in the case of electrical fire, means fire caused by electric short circuit, uh, cannot be stopped by putting water on it because water is a good conductor of electricity, and it may harm us. It may cause problem for us. Okay. See, one picture is given here, that is soda acid fire extinguisher. That is very commonly used by us in our offices, schools, laboratories, vehicles. Okay. It is an instrument that is used to uh, cut the supply of air or oxygen by putting a layer of carbon dioxide around the firing object, and hence the fire goes off. Okay. See how it works. See, as a diagram of this instrument is given here. It is sealed. It is a metallic cylinder in which one more cylinder is there, that contains sodium bicarbonate, and in which there is a small container tube is there, glass tube that contains sulfuric acid. Okay. Now, plunger is here. By striking this cylinder, by keeping it upside down, what we do, we break the thin glass tube, and by doing so, the acid in this glass tube mixes with the sodium bicarbonate that is in the uh, cylinder and make carbon dioxide, water, and sodium sulfate salt. Now, this carbon dioxide is there at high pressure, and that gas come out in the form of fizz and cover the firing object. As carbon dioxide is heavier than oxygen, so it remove oxygen from there and cover it, and hence the supply of oxygen or air is cut, so the fire switch off. Okay. In this way, this cylinder is used, fire cylinder is used for switching off the fire. So it is uh, very common nowadays. It is used in everywhere because it is very portable cylinder and is kept in vehicles, in houses too, in kitchen, everywhere. We keep it. Okay. Now, what happens when there is incomplete combustion? See, during incomplete combustion, a part of the unburned carbon passes into the atmosphere in the form of soot, and this not only wastes the fuel but also pollutes the atmosphere. So, unburned incomplete combustion means what? The fuel doesn't burn properly. Some part of fuel remains unburned. If that part will not burn, it will convert into soot and it will remain as it is in the form of carbon particle, and that get mixed with air and cause a lot of problems for us. Means it pollutes atmosphere too. Okay. Second one is carbon monoxide is formed during incomplete combustion because incomplete combustion is there due to insufficient supply of air. Means supply of air is not proper, so it causes incomplete combustion. So incomplete combustion forms carbon monoxide, and this gas is highly poisonous. This gas is highly poisonous. It causes a lot of problem to us. It causes a lot of health problem, especially it forms carboxyhemoglobin when it is inhaled by human being, and that hemoglobin uh, do not carry oxygen with it, and it causes a lot of problem for us. It may be fatal for human beings. So we should try to avoid incomplete combustion. Okay. Now we'll talk about the flame. See, flame may be defined as a region over which gases burn. Uh, when we burn a piece of paper or wax candle, a flame is produced. Flame we might have seen in our houses, in our daily life, in our cooking stoves, in lamp, in candle. Flame is formed. Actually, that flame is the region where gases burn, in the region of burning of gases. Okay. See, one diagram is shown here. Uh, one diagram is shown here. It is a diagram of candle flame where candle has shown here the three layers of candle flame: outer layer, middle layer, and inner layer. Okay. Three layers are here. One is the inner layer that is looking black in color. Middle one is the looking yellowish in color, and the outer layer is colorless. Outer layer is called the layer of complete combustion. Middle layer is called the layer of incomplete combustion, and innermost layer is simply there for melting of wax, that is changing of wax into wax vapor. Okay. अब see what happens in inner zone. As I said that inner zone consists of unburnt wax vapor given off by the molten wax. Means in this layer only wax melts and vapors are formed. Okay. In middle zone, these vapors burn, but the vapor doesn't burn properly. Some part of vapor burns and some part remains unburned. And it forms, it creates light, so it is called uh, luminous zone. It produces light, so it is called luminous zone. Okay? It produces moderate hot. If we compare the hot heat of the different zones, we can say it produces moderate amount of heat because there is partial combustion. And now, why is the partial combustion? The partial combustion is due to the partial combustion is due to the insufficient supply of air. Okay. Now, so if there is partial combustion means some part of fuel, some part of vapor remains unburned, and that vapor soot, convert into soot. Okay. So now you see, uh, outermost zone means it is non-luminous zone. Okay. This zone, in this zone, the vapors burn completely. Now see, as I have said earlier about the conditions of combustion, when there is incomplete combustion, when there is complete combustion, there must be a reason behind it. Here also, for complete combustion, the reason is that here the uh, outer region, outer layer get maximum amount of air. It get maximum amount of air from outside. Okay, and hence it burned properly. The whole gas burned properly. The whole vapor burned properly. So it is a region of complete combustion, and hence it produces a lot of heat. So it is called the hottest zone of the candle flame. Okay, there is complete combustion. Here, since the combustion is complete, so no yellow flame is there. It is non-luminous zone. Okay, and flame is not seen, but temperature is very very high in this region. Okay. Now, see, uh, let us perform an activity to show wax vapor. Now we'll see how in inner zone wax vapor forms. In middle zone, some part of vapor remains unburned, and how the outer zone has maximum amount of heat that we'll see. Okay, come here. See in this flame, what we see that we have taken one candle, we burned it and put it on a table fixed with a table. Now we'll put one glass tube and it put in such a manner that one end of glass tube is near the inner zone of candle flame. Okay. As here vapors are formed, so vapors come through this pipe and at this end will burn a matchstick. Okay. Mastic uh, will here the gas which is coming out through the pipe will burn with the help of mastic. This shows what? This shows that the wax paper is formed here. Okay. Second, see here in this picture as it is shown, one candle is taken. We burn the candle and we'll put a glass slide on the flame such that we'll try to keep it at the middle of the flame, that is in the middle zone, and we'll find a black ring. That black ring shows that the deposition of carbon particle means carbon particle which doesn't burn, that get deposited on the glass slide and make a black ring. This shows that some part of fuel, some part of wax vapor remains unburned in middle zone. Okay, and in activity 6, uh, you will keep one candle and put a copper rod at the outer part. Okay, and what we see, very soon this rod become hot. This rod become hot, and this shows that uh, it produce a lot of heat. This zone produce a lot of heat. So by this three activity, we see that how the candle flame produce a lot of heat, how it will produce unburnt wax carbon particles, and where wax vapors are born. Okay, but in this way we have seen the different uh, mm, different processes takes place at the different zones of flame. Okay, now fuel and calorific value. One thing more is there, that is the. And do you know, as I said, that the outer part of the frame is the hottest part of the candle flame. See, that is used as one of the application of this. You might have seen in the shop of goldsmith, uh, the operators, mm, the work personals are there, and they use candle flame to uh, melt gold. See what they do? They use the outermost layer of flame with the help of a blowpipe, and which they used to have. That blowpipe, and they blow on the flame, and they divert the flame at the required place, and uh, they melt the gold and silver to give them the desired shape. Because the temperature of this part of flame is around 1300 degrees centigrade. So it is very high temperature. It is very high temperature where gold and silver melts. Just for your kind information, I want to say that iron melts at 1500 degrees centigrade near about almost. And see the temperature here is also 1300. So we say that it is very uh, high temperature. Now we'll talk about the fuel and its calorific value. The amount of heat energy produced on completely burning 1 kilogram of a fuel in pure oxygen is called calorific value of a fuel. See, calorific value is the way for finding the quality of a fuel. Just to say whether a fuel is good or not, or how good it is, we we'll have to find its calorific value. By finding the calorific value, we can find the quality of fuel. Means the fuel which have high calorific value will be categorized as good quality fuel. Okay. Or the more calorific value, the better is efficiency of a fuel. Calorific value is expressed in kilojoules per kilogram. See here the symbol is given. It is categorized as kilojoules per kilogram. Okay, means the amount of heat produced by burning 1 kilogram of that fuel in pure oxygen is called its calorific value. Now see some qualities or you can say characteristics of good quality fuel. A fuel should be cheap, readily available, and easy to transport. Fuel should be cheap and readily available, easily available to us, and easy to transport. Means we can carry from one place to other place easily. Then it will be called a good fuel. Be easy to store. Means we can store the maximum fuel in minimum space. And it is called easy to store. Okay. Suppose we will have to cook food on wood. One person have to cook food on wood, and one person have to cook by using LPG. So if they will store the fuel for 1 month, so then wood will be required high amount. So it is not easy to store wood for 1 month, but just to store for 1 month LPG, one cylinder or two cylinders is sufficient. So so it is LPG is a good quality fuel that is easy to store or to carry. We'll see the next point also. Have a high calorific value. A good fuel should have high calorific value means it should give maximum heat with a minimum use of fuel. Not produce harmful gas is after burning. A good quality fuel should not produce harmful gases. Okay, then it will be a good quality fuel. Uh, have a low ignition temperature. However, this should not be below of around the room temperature. Uh, it should be a lower temperature, but it should not be lower from or around the room temperature. कम पे जलना चाहिए लेकिन इतना भी कम नहीं हो कि अपने आप जल जाए. The ignition temperature of this substance should be low, लेकिन इतना भी लो नहीं हो कि अपने आप जल जाए. सब नहीं होना चाहिए. ठीक है. So it is also a quality, a characteristics. And next one is undergo complete controllable combustion. Means combustion of those fuels should be under our control. So if these 6 points are there, then those fuels are a good quality fuel. Okay. Among the different physical state of fuel, in the gaseous state are generally the best. Okay, means whatever the fuel we use, among those the gaseous fuels are generally the best fuel. Okay, because gaseous fuel burn properly, completely, without leaving any ash, and produce less harmful uh, mm, substances or harmful gases. Okay. Now, see, there are some reasons which decides that gaseous fuel are good quality fuel. First one is gaseous fuels are supplied in cylinders or through pipeline, hence their transportation cost gets lowered. Gaseous fuels are supplied in cylinders or through pipelines, hence their transportation cost gets lowered. Second one is gaseous fuel release large amount of energy. They also do not leave behind any ash or solid residue on combustion. Gaseous fuel do not leave any ash or solid residue. If you burn wood or coal, they will leave ash and solid residue, but gases will burn completely with releasing high amount of energy and they leave no ash. Third one is gaseous fuel produce least amount of harmful gases as compared to solid and liquid fuels. And last one is gaseous fuel can be easily ignited even with a small spark. Gaseous fuel is easily ignited with a small spark. Hence, the rate of combustion can also be easily controlled with the help of control valve. So, these four reasons make the gaseous fuel best. Okay. Now we'll talk about the harmful effect of fuels. Okay. Uh, see, there are some harmful effects given here. We'll discuss one by one. Uh, First one is fuel like wood, coal, and petroleum product release unburnt carbon particles. These carbon particles of smoke or ash get suspended in the air. Excessive amount of these particles in air causes breathing problems. In winter, these particles produce smog, which is very harmful to the plant as well as the animals. See, fuel like wood, coal, petroleum, uh, coal, they produce unburnt carbon particles. This particle, which is smoke, uh, form ash or get suspended in air, and that is very harmful. When they are inhaled in our lungs, they become very dangerous for us. They cause breathing problem, and these particles, unburnt particle in winter season, form smog. Means they mix with the fog and form smog and cause a lot of problem to the animals as well as the plant. Incomplete combustion of carbon fuel results in the formation of carbon monoxide, as we have discussed earlier. That incomplete combustion produce carbon monoxide gas, and it is very poisonous. Even a small amount of this in air can cause breathing problem and cause a lot of difficulties for us. As I discussed earlier, that they form carboxyhemoglobin, and that goes in our lungs and cause a lot of problem because hemoglobin works to carry oxygen in blood, but carboxyhemoglobin will not carry oxygen and it will stop the passage of oxygen, which will stop respiration and it will cause a lot of problems. Third one is the combustion of fuel releases carbon dioxide in environment, and that excess carbon dioxide also cause a lot of problem because it raise the temperature of environment, cause global warming. That global warming will result into the melting of ice present on polar region, which will result into the rise of water level of sea ocean and will cause a lot of problem for the coastal area people. Okay, so this is also burning of combustion of fuel in large amount also are dangerous. Although the carbon dioxide is required by us, but in a limited amount, not in large amount. Okay. Because large amount will form global warming. Okay. Burning of coal and diesel releases sulfur dioxide, and it is an extremely suffocating gas. It also dissolves in water vapor to produce sulfuric acid and results in acid rain, which damages building, plant, trees such as acid rain. Okay. So, acid rain is also caused due to the burning of fossil fuel, burning of coal, diesel, means due to combustion. The global warming, acid rain, carboxyhemoglobin, and others. These are the very important, very mm, common problem caused by the burning of uh, fuel, that is combustion of fuels. Okay, if we will use uh, fuel like CNG or LPG in place of diesel petrol, so these will be less harmful. Rather, we say they are the eco-friendly fuel and cleaner fuel. If we use CNG, it is comparatively better than the others because it produces a less amount of uh, harmful gases, rather no smoke it produces. Okay, and it is very good for us. So we should try to change or replace our fuel with the help with CNG or LPG. That is comparatively better for our environment. Thank you for today's class. Next, we will discuss about the exercise. Okay. Okay. Thank you.